about the voice crack there. But today I thought we would go over a simple little bit of C++ code using C++ 20 here. I'm doing this for a class, my engineering programming class, as we can see in GR225 assignment 2. There's my A number for school, my name, the assignment, and when it's due. These are the coding requirements. This is saying a customer is in a store purchasing 5 items. Create a C++ program that asks for the price of each item and then display the subtotal of the sale, the amount of sales tax, and the total. Assume the sales tax is 6%. So as we start any kind of program, so far, I'm including this IOStream, which allows for simple input and output functions that are already written in this IOStream library. And then using namespace std, this is allowing us to, instead of having to put std : c out, it automatically knows that we're using this namespace, so therefore it allows us to use some shorthand using just the regular c out and c in um, functions. So what does this code mean? Every C++ program begins with a main method. So we have integer main. It means it's going to return an integer, which down here we return 0 because we're not really looking to get a return out of it. And we're initializing some variables here. So this is a double, which is twice the amount of space of a float. It also allows you to put decimal numbers, as the type integer does not allow for decimal numbers. So what we have is we have a variable for the 5 items that it asked for. I came up with just 4 fruit and a water bottle to demonstrate a couple of things. Normally, we do not capitalize our variable names, but we see in water bottle, which is 2 words, but it's a single variable, so we can't have a space between water and bottle. That would not work. So I put lowercase water and then capital B for bottle. I also have a variable set aside to make space for a subtotal, a tax rate, and a total. We see on the tax rate, I have gone ahead and initialized it at 0.06, which is up here. It says we assume that it is 6%, and what is 6%? 0.06. So at the start of our code, we have cout, which the system is going to print for us. For the user, it's going to say a customer approaches you with 5 items. End L means it's going to jump to the next line before continuing to type out. These just string together different elements of my cout function. So I have to string together this little sentence and then string together that with the end L command and then string even more text that I want to add. I have the indentions that I have done under the cout are not necessary. I can put it all in one line as much as I want, but for readability's sake, I have gone ahead and moved the second line because it's going to be on the next line just to kind of show that visually. I have written out item 1, apple, and then the next line, how much does this cost? And then cin apple allows us to take whatever the user enters here after how much does this cost, that will send that value into our variable for apple. So we do that for each of our variables all the way from apple to water bottle, and then over here I finally give a value to my subtotal variable by adding up the values of apple, banana, peach, plum, and water bottle. And then my total is going to be my subtotal times 1 plus my tax rate. So if you're not familiar with the algebra behind this expression, it's subtotal times 1, which is just subtotal, plus whatever my subtotal times the tax rate equals. So that means I'm going to get 1.006 times my subtotal, which is exactly what you would expect to see in a store when it calculates your tax. Say if your tax was 7%, it would give you 1.07 times however much all your items cost in the store. So now we're just going to print out for the user to see what we're doing here. It says subtotal, and then it prints out the subtotal, and then I move to the next line. And then it says sales tax, and then it gives just what the tax rate is, and then I put over here what that means for the user. So it says it's adding however much the subtotal times the tax rate is. Whatever that 0.6 of the subtotal is, it shows you how much that's adding to make what the total is make sense. Say, okay, let's run the code. Alright, how much does an apple cost? They approach us with 5 items, so that sets the scenario for us. Item 1 is an apple. How much does it cost? Let's say an apple costs just 50 cents. We don't want it to be a lot. We're going to be 0.5. Alright, a banana. We'll say that's 75 cents, right? That makes sense. A peach can be a whole dollar. A plum, I'd say, is 80 cents. And then a water bottle, maybe it's 125. So we see that our subtotal is going to be $4.30. And our sales tax is 0.6. So that means we're adding 25.8 cents. And then that makes sense because we see what's $4.30 plus 25.8 cents. Well, that's $4.55.8, which would round up to $4.56. Now, I'm sure there is a way to do that, but I am very new to code, and this is just my first, really digging into the depths of, I guess, C++. I've never worked with it before, and I've only done the Hello World before this, so I think this is pretty decent for my first real coding assignment. I hope this was easy to follow, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this wherever you are. Hopefully this has been helpful to see what we have covered, the main method, what it means to use a namespace, including a library, initializing variables, declaring variables, and taking user input. And then using those different variables to create new variables. So I think this has been a very interesting lesson. I'm excited to learn more and to delve deeper into C++. But I believe that's all